Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Rebecca. Today's yin practice is going to be more toward the restorative. You will want a blanket, a bolster, and a couple of blocks. The first posture is supported butterfly. I recommend having one block on the low setting, the other on the high, and then resting your bolster over it. You could also use pillows. The blanket I'm going to recommend for the first posture of supported butterfly wraps around the feet. So the soles of the feet come together and then blanket wraps underneath so it supports the ankles, and maybe you're not going to get your knees out as wide. You could also use blocks. If you had extra blocks, you could take blocks and put them underneath your knees or closer towards your hips. The back is elevated and supported. The feet are being held, the ankles slightly lifted. So find that just right position for you. And begin to slow the breath down, close the eyes. Allow yourself to arrive. Move your awareness from the mental space into the physical space, from behind the eyes, between the eyebrows, and starting to take it down through your face, relaxing the muscles in your face, your jaw, letting it travel down to your neck. From your neck, letting it move across the collarbones, to your shoulders, the right and the left, and down right arm and left arm. And just paying attention to these areas to relax, soften. And from the shoulders and collarbones, down the torso, along the front of the ribs, the back of the ribs, the spine, to your sacrum, the tailbone, the pelvis, the right side, the left side. Let that relaxation travel down right leg, left leg, where the feet meet, feeling that connection between the soles of the feet. There are so many things in this world vying for our attention. And with this dawn of a new age and AI, things are moving so much faster. This is your permission to relax and release and simply receive. Receive sensation. Receive the pause. Receive any messages your body wants to convey that perhaps you cannot hear in this noisy world. Notice your capacity for breath. Can you make it fuller, deeper? This is your time. Years ago, I would hear about self-care, and I always thought self-care came with a price tag, like a massage or a facial or getting the nails done. And those are all fine and well, but they actually, over time, to me, felt like more work or effort. So it is practices like this, doing a very gentle, restorative. And restorative is intended to just hold us, less stretch and more being held. But something that also could be self-care is taking a bath, putting our phone off to the side, the screens, and letting them be. Taking a walk, being out in nature, again, without the phone, without headphones, without noise. Nature has its own noises. So it's nice to really start to pay attention to the world around us. And nature has so much to teach us about cycles and seasons, natural rhythms, about growth over time, and cycles to bloom and cycles to rest. In the northern hemisphere, we are in winter, so it is a natural time to just slow down and to restore. We'll slowly move on to left side. So I want you to take your blanket, place it between the knees. Knees are bent. Rest the left side of the rib cage on the bolster and side lie. Head and torso supported. Let this time spent be a reset for your nervous system, letting the mind quiet and empty. And you might find, if you're like me, I'm at home. This is not a padded box that I am recording in. I have no door. It's a third floor space. So I can hear things going on in the house. Television playing in the background. And hopefully you can't hear this, but laundry being done. And even though we hear these noises, I can hear cars outside. This is part of the practice. We notice the noises, but we're practicing conditioning the nervous system that we don't need to respond or react, that we can still be in a state of calm with the busyness happening around us. And this would be the same practice if you were in nature, because nature is not quiet. Whether it's the wind or the buzz of a fly, a mosquito, the chirping, the singing of the bird song. There's a lot happening in the natural world. So it's always nice to think we can have these like perfectly quiet, still spaces, but that really is not the reality of life. We practice even with the noise and continue to bring our awareness inward. Take 3 more deep breaths here. And then lift the torso off of the bolster, set the blanket to the side. Right foot's going to come inside of left knee, right hand presses right knee forward as we twist toward the bolster. And you might rest your torso on there or just hold it here in this hinged position. Wherever you're feeling sensation, perhaps along the hip, the inner thigh, breathe into it. Receive the sensation and be with it. And release. Come back to center, constructive rest, placing the blanket across the chest for added weight. Knees together, feet wide. Remember that we are energy, 99.99999 space and energy. Our energetic center of the human body is the heart. It's like a valve, very similar to a faucet that gets turned on and off. And a question, and something I have leaned into over the years based on the writing of Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul. He says that there's nothing worth closing your heart over. And I've struggled with that because I was like, oh, if you've been hurt, needed protection, oh yeah, there's reason to close your heart. But the more I ponder, meditate, talk about it, I'm coming to the conclusion that he is indeed correct. Because what happens is we're hurt, we get our heart broken, and I like to think of it as breaking open versus breaking down. But things happen, loss, challenges, disruption. And we will close that valve of energy, of love. We will close it off to protect, recoil. We close the valve so that we don't get hurt, which in turn isn't really what happens, because what happens is we close ourselves off from connection, from presence, and the actual thing that helps us heal, love. Our energy helps us to heal. So we are not hurting the other person, we're hurting ourselves. And just like this practice teaches us, we sit with sensation, we ride it. We're not closing ourselves off from it, over tensing. Just allowing ourselves to be with whatever arises. Practice neutrality and choose to stay open. Side line on the right-hand side. Fold my blanket up, place it between the knees. The knees stay bent, right side of the rib cage comes along the bolster. And relax and soften. When I say the word let go or release, relax, surrender, it is a word that just rolls off my tongue. But in practice, it can be really challenging to surrender. So you think you're relaxed right now. I invite you on your next exhale to relax even more. Know that there are layers upon layers to dive deeper. Like peeling back the layers of an onion, getting to the center. And it takes time and practice. And the moment you think you've finally arrived, there's another layer. very similar to climbing a peak. But for most of us, if we enjoy climbing the peak, there will be another one, and another, and another. And that's what creates a rich, complex, meaningful, purposeful life. I think we often want to be in that Pollyanna zone where everything is just fine. But if you enjoy good entertainment, whether it be musical theater, movies, plays, we would not be sitting through a story that had no tension, challenge, or struggle. We would lose interest. So that certain amount of tension or thrill or mystery keeps us going. Remember that. Rise up, set the blanket toward the top of your mat, left foot in front of right knee, and then left hand presses left knee toward the top of your mat as you twist your torso toward the back. Stretching into the hip and the outer thigh on the left hand side. And breathe into sensation. And release. So now we're going to sit on the blanket. You're going to turn toward your bolster, wide angled fold. The blanket's really nice just to help take some of the strain off of the back and the hamstrings. I think I need to scoot forward more. And your legs don't have to be super wide. And when you're ready, hinge and soften forward. Now you can have the knees bent. You'll find that just right position for the hips on the blanket, and the blanket in relation to the bolster. You might need to play with it a little bit. Let yourself just be held. It's not about the deepest stretch. It's about being in the moment, in your body. Noticing life and the sounds of life happening around you. I'm not trying to block them out or ignore them, but cultivating this experience of calm and peace amidst the busyness. that we're not reacting to the busy. And slowly rise. Take right hand to the right, side bend to the right. And switch, side bend to the left. And release. Set your blanket over to the side. Now we're going to bring our feet up the bolster. This is a modified legs up the wall if you would like. Placing the blanket on your torso for some added weight. Sandbags could be really nice too if you had them. Fortunately, my blanket is rather heavy, so I do feel the weight of it. This restorative practice, seeking less stretch and more of a felt sense of being held, supported, grounded in your body. Needing of nothing other than just your gentle, soft, and loving breath. Gently release. Now we're going to take the bolster and bring it underneath the low back. You could also take a block for supported bridge. Stack your feet on top of your hips for a supported shoulder stand. Notice how sensation might change throughout the torso, or the hips, the legs. And release. Bring the hips down, extend the legs. Option to place the bolster on top of the torso. You could even do the blanket as well, just to add more weight for grounding. And stay here for as long as you'd like. You can pause the video. Setting props off to the side. And making your way to a seat. Bringing hands to heart center. Thanking yourself for showing up, for taking care and choosing to continue to open. Thanks so much for joining me. Hariom Tat Sat.